Gray and I met through fishing and had talked about getting together and hunting and coming up and checking out his place for a while. And finally, earlier this year, I got to do exactly that and ended up harvesting my best whitetail to date with a bow. He runs Florida Outdoor Experience. It's an outfitter that they offer everything from fishing to hunting, but it's not just fishing charters and not just, you know, guided hunts. It's a emphasis on Old Florida and a true Florida outdoor experience.
Well, we're located outside of a small town called Chiefland, Florida, between Chiefland and Cedar Key. It's about 45 miles west of Gainesville. What makes this particular location so unique when it comes to hunting turkeys, or in this case Osceola turkeys, is we are one of the northernmost counties that has Osceolas in it, that is recognized by the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Whether you're a whitetail hunter or a duck hunter, you may not ever look at Florida as a destination. Not that we don't have great whitetail hunting and great waterfowl hunting, but pretty much anyone who turkey hunts, Florida is in their itinerary at some point in time.
I've had a chance to hunt many different species. Hunting the Osceola turkey is, in my opinion, it's the most challenging hunt. As
far as turkey hunting goes, the Osceola is it. You know, it's the crown jewel, it's the hardest one, it's the most wily bird, notorious for being very quiet.
If you notice our terrain, our habitat, it's very thick. There's a lot of places that predators can hide. We have a lot of predators down here, primarily coyotes and fox. You know, I think just over the years, it's just, you know, it's kind of instinct for them that they just, if they don't have to be vocal, they're not vocal. And it throws a lot of the hunters off that hunt different regions. Just because you're out there and you're calling and you don't hear the Osceola, that doesn't mean he's not coming. You know, with some of the technology, the newer technology out, when I say newer, I mean such as trail cameras, you know, Google Earth, and things that a lot of hunters use to learn the terrain and pattern the animals. We do use trail cameras to try to get an idea on how many birds are coming to their fields, but there's no guarantee. You know, that does give us a little bit of a leg up. However, it's very challenging. You just can't pattern those birds. Management is the most important part of being an outfitter. You know, you have to take care of your land. If you take care of your land will take care of your wildlife. And that's all there is to it. You cannot cut corners with that. To do that, we do a lot of mowing, a lot of prescribed burning.
Is this a pretty fresh burn?
Yeah, we burned this a week and a half ago.
I mean, the benefit of it is?
Benefits the whole habitat, you know, trees, the wildlife. Turkeys love it. They like to come around scratching it, whatnot. Turns up sparks new vegetation. This place in 2 more weeks will be, especially coming in the spring.
Green.
Beautiful. It'll be green, lush. We do a lot of feed supplementation year-round, whether that be with food plots or protein. We plant a lot of rye and oats.
Gotcha. Both the turkey and the deer.
Both of them love it. Once the rye gets up, you know, it produces
little
seeds, and we'll go through when they mature and mow those out, mow strips in it. Turkeys love it.
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with Ray Marine. Go hunting underwater with Ray Marine.
We're hunting what we call Florida flatwoods, and that's made up of scrub oaks, palmettos, low pond flats, mixed in with a few live oak hammocks. So there's really a large, diverse terrain here, big diversity. The birds, they tend to like to roost in the thicker areas. Middle of the day, they'll slowly work their way out through the fields, mull around there. As the sun comes up, it becomes hotter, they'll work their way back into the hammocks where it's cooler, and then in the afternoons, you'll target the open fields.
The game plan was to get out the first day and 2 things. See what the activity of the birds were, see what their attitude was, and also see how we were gonna pull it off filming it. You know, we're going to kind of use it as, that first day was kind of a learning deal as far as figuring out what the birds were doing and figuring out how can we do this to do it justice and capture what we're trying to capture in the way we want to do it, and not blow the hunt. You know, how are we going to get 3 camera guys and whatnot? So that makes it a little tricky, because typically, you know, if it was Gray and I hunting and we heard a gobble, you know, 400 yards or on the other side of a head, we'd pick up, run and gun, get in position and try and cut that bird off. And then we sat up here so 2 guys could be in that ground line.
If we just hear them rattling off over here,
and we can
we're going to sit back in this.
Yeah, big time.
That way it gives us another option.
Just as I was saying earlier, you know, it's hard to pattern these birds. And 2 weeks before you guys got here, we had all these birds patterned. They were, you know, we could tell you exactly which birds were coming to what field that we were going to target and hunt. It was going to be as sure of a hunt as I've ever had. I was so excited. Of course, you get here, we get out the first day, we hear a couple of birds, we set up, and I think in the golden spot, the spot that I would be hunting for myself if I was that. And the day before when I scouted, we had 4 different gobblers come through that area. We get there and we see probably every hen on the property, no gobblers. And so we had to regroup that afternoon. You know, afternoon, different hunt. We go back out there, and we did manage to see some good birds. We just couldn't get them to come in. Just as deer rut, the Osceola, the turkey rut, so to speak, is in the springtime, and I would say we're in sort of a pre-rut right now. They're active, they're starting to get, you know, very vocal and talkative. You're starting to see some come into the hens and really strut and do their thing, but it's not really full speed, full on. I think we're about a week away until that switch turns on.
There's definitely...
Really shocked that nothing came here.
I know.
I mean, we had every hen on the property, I think.
There's a good amount of birds right in here.
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. The American Barrels, live free or die, a true American spirit.
We got set up, we built this blind up at night before, built a natural kind of ground blind out of some shrubs and stuff, and then brushed in, moved the tent blind, brushed it in behind us. We had a Jake and a hen come in and hang out with us around our decoys for a little while and then work south into the field. So at least it was giving us an idea of where the birds were wanting to move through in that area. Within a couple hours, we had a bird in the south field, which the day before we could hear, never did get eyes on it. Had him kind of skirting the southern edge of the south field.
We just kept making soft calls every 10 to 15 minutes.
I mean, there's not another place in the world I'd rather be this afternoon than here. Exactly. I was going to kill an Osceola based on yesterday, but...
All of a sudden, you know, I believe it was David in the tent looked at me, his eyes got really big and pointed, "Two birds coming, big birds," you know, and did like that and like it was a beard. And so I couldn't see the bird, frustrated me, and I couldn't stand it.
So Gray's actually tracking where the birds are behind him by watching the lenses of the cameras in the tent blind. And, you know, he's going, "Shoot it, can you shoot it?" And I'm, you know, I've got a clean shot on the birds, and you know, the guys are in the tent giving us the thumbs down, don't shoot it. And Gray's losing his mind, you know. Here he is, we just worked our tails off for 2 days. We have 2 great gobblers at 25 yards. Perfect, you know, shot for me not to have to come across my body or anything. And we're being told, nope, don't kill him.
He's going to the decoy. They're charging the decoy.
Gray's going, "Please shoot the damn turkey," you know, like, you know, can he shoot it? And finally, you know, we get thumbs up.
Better do it. You're going to do
is. Take them. Take them. Take them. Hold on. Hey. Yeah, buddy. Sick.
Once they saw the decoys, they committed, came in. Chris made an excellent shot.
You got it done. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Checking.
Strut right there.
Yeah.
And you see how you can tell in Osceola they're predominantly black when the white bars are broken up like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one right there and there. That's the characteristic of it. On an Eastern, it'll be the white bars will be very white.
More solid.
Very, yes. Won't be as intrusive. It's tough enough by yourself to go out and do this, and I'm used to having another person with me guiding them. And I've gone out with 3 people before. You know, the third being a camera guy. This is the first time that we've had 3 camera guys and a hunter and myself. So, you know, that's 5 people trying to kill, in my opinion, one of the most elusive species out there. But luck was on our side. We pulled it off. You certainly, whether you're behind the camera or behind the gun or behind the call, if you're not an outdoorsman, you're not a hunter, if you don't get it, then you're not going to have any success with it.
Whether we would have got that bird or not, it would have been a successful day for me. You know, I got to spend the day in the woods with a buddy. I got to learn a lot from him about how he interacts with these turkeys, and that's something super unique and cool about turkey hunting. One aspect, you don't want them to know you're there. At the same time, you're trying to carry on a conversation with them and communicate with them. And it's cool to do that with somebody who interacts with turkeys as much as Gray does. To me, if you can walk out of the woods with a little more knowledge than you walked in there with, then it's a successful day, and having a bird on the ground is a bonus. Got it done, brother. Another one in the books.
Earned this one, man. Earned this one.
Wild Instinct Outdoors is in partnership with XS Sight Systems, the fastest sights in any light. Boatmaster Trailers, the name that represents quality.
Gray's the kind of guy that until it's done, he's gonna obsess over it, you know? And you could hunt, you could have put a 15-hour day in, and now it's midnight and you just got done eating dinner. And if he thinks a blind needs to be moved, he's going back into the woods and gonna spend another 2 hours getting things set up and doing what it takes. So I know he could take a sigh of relief and you know, now we could have some fun with it. And
This is where we set it this morning, okay? But
oh, okay.
see, this is the camp where we are right now. So we're gonna go in this new area that just put a food plot in for the first time this year. So it's planted rye and oats in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the rye seeds up. The turkeys are coming in here in the afternoon to strut around, kind of a staging area.
Yeah.
So it's back in this 120.
Okay.
As you can see it, you come down here, and this is it right here.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna set up on the west side of it. These birds, what they're doing is they're coming in this field during the afternoon, strutting around, kind of doing their thing, and then they're working their way back west, or I'm sorry, east to roost.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna catch them those couple hours before the roost, and if we doesn't work out, then we know where they're roosted for the morning. So
right.
we'll go
All
back.
Right. Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah, I like it.
You know, it'll be a challenge with the bow, but it should be fun.
Yeah, it's getting windy. Perfect.
Yeah, let's go. We decided, you know what? Let's roll the dice and have some fun the next day. Let's try this with the bow. Now that's been done. A lot of people hunt turkeys with bows. That's where another place where those portable ground blinds, the tents, really help out. You know, with the bow, when you see the turkey, it's not just like you're raising a gun. There's quite a bit of movement. You have to draw back, and then, you know, if the turkey stops, you're holding in that position for quite a while. But we decided to maybe make it even more challenging, as if the bow wasn't challenging enough. So Chris and I cut some brush and made a man-made natural blind in the front of us. The game plan was we were going to use Fred, the mounted decoy that I have, pull the string, his tail come up, and help entice a gobbler into range with the bow. And man, it couldn't have worked out any better. I think we were there about an hour and a half. I was doing some soft yelps. I look up, and in the road we came in on was a beautiful gobbler. I mean, the sun was hitting him, the iridescent colors and the feathers, and it was just gorgeous. It was just your perfect, you know, setup. It's exactly what you want to see. The bird came in the field, started working his way in, feeding around, saw Fred, slowly started working towards Fred.
You got him, Chris?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah. He's a damn good bird. Raise up. You know you're not high enough. Just a minute. You're gonna hit the blind if you're gonna hit the blind. Get another arrow quick.
When he let it fly, all I could hear was whop, and I knew he hit something. Well, he not only hit the bird, he hit the tent, leaves, everything going out to the bird, you know, and this was just a complete fun trial by error, so to speak, and we knew that we might be setting ourselves up for failure, but, you know, sometimes that's how you learn, and if it's not a challenge, we're not really interested in doing it.
The arrow dropped, hit, instead of hitting the neck, hit just below the base of the neck, thumped the bird really hard, but, you know, it jumped up in the air, landed, stood there, looked at the decoy like, how the heck did you just close 20 feet and kick me in the chest?
We were using a guillotine broadhead, which is specially made to shoot the bird in its neck. It looked like the bird might have even ducked a little bit, hit him a little low. I don't think the bird was injured. We didn't find anything that would tell us, you know, the bird jumped in the air, then he kind of meandered around the field a little bit and then slowly walked off the way he came in. But, you know, I mean, that's part of it. That's how you learn. Turkey hunting is definitely, if you're expecting to go and have success every time, you don't ever turkey hunt, because that's not going to happen. You're going to fail more times than you're going to, you know, succeed in this sport.
I'm just out here trying to scare your turkeys half to death.
After we regrouped and regained our composure, we were sitting still, and we heard just all this racket behind us, and I knew what was about to happen. We had hogs coming to the field. I'm watching the hogs out of the corner of my eye over my right, and I'm whispering to Chris, get an arrow, get an arrow, get an arrow. I look over, Chris has already gotten an arrow loaded up, he's ready to go.
I'm sitting here drawn like, you know, do you want me to shoot him? He's like, of course I want you to shoot him.
I'd sit down.
Beautiful shot, got it right in the lungs. Hog ran out in the field, did a little dance and fell over. So we had some success there. So, you know, I mean, even if that hadn't happened, I would consider the hunt a fun hunt. But you know, that made it, you know, kind of icing on the cake to have that. So
That was a weird looking turkey. Yeah.
we decided early that we could put up a ground blind and get it done easy, or we could
Yeah, but this was
make something, you know,
this was
more like this and make it more challenging. And
Right.
we decided, what the heck, let's have some fun with it.
I mean, it's a matter of inches, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Make this, cut that stick off, those two off, cut that leaf off flat, and went right through there. Look here, we gave him a haircut.
Definitely. You're well on your way to your first Indian headdress. You know? It's a good pick.
Yeah. Really, to me, success is not just the fact that we did harvest a turkey, but that experience we all had together. I got to learn a lot from Gray about how he approaches turkey hunting, and I walked out of there from this trip with a great experience, some new knowledge of the woods, and anytime I think that you can say that, it's been a success, and you know, that's what it's all about.